Not that it really matters, right? But people who assume that they know or understand my grieving process really got me fucked up. It is simply not just about grieving him. Because I hear more often than not, oh, he did you so fucked up in the end. Oh, you know, he was this way, he was that way. And while I can definitely um, understand their concerns, understand the outlook of the outcome, I get it. And to a degree, that is true. That is true. Um, but there's more truths to the story. And again, not that it matters, not that I need to clear it up for anyone, but I was just sitting here thinking on this beautiful day as I'm sitting here sipping on my coffee that I wanted to further address some shit. Now, my coffee is a little too sweet. Some of the shit that further need addressing is I felt like I was hit with grief on top of grief. I don't know if you can understand that, but there were so many things that I was going through emotionally. First of all, I was going through that breakup. Trying to get an understanding of everything that happened because contrary to other people's opinions, I still don't have the gist of everything that happened. I know that it was ending simply because we weren't getting along, and I had started to see behaviors and patterns in him that was totally unfamiliar with me. And I chopped it up to a part of it being his traumatic experience, but I also felt like I was worthy of a sit down conversation that I never got. And so I had to deal with all of this and come to my own conclusions. And in the midst of this, trying to co parent and through my fucking grieving, it wasn't just about the fucking breakup, it was about me grieving a whole motherfucking life that I don't give a fuck if you or anybody else might feel was a fantasy. It was fucking mine. It was mine. And the fantasy was based in a reality of breaking the generational curse of having a whole complete family. Having my children being in a home that consists of the mom and the dad. That was big for me. That was a big part of it for me. Being in love and having this, well, I know it wouldn't be easy, but I thought it would be doable. Having this life of being in love with one of the people that was closest to me, having the reward of saying we got through some shit, having the understanding of loving and disliking, but getting through parts of each other in our stages of growth as we get past trauma, as we continue to raise our family, as we continue, because now we have a grandson. And just the perks of experiencing in this life everything that I wanted for me. And up until the separation, it was told to me that this is the things that he wanted too, which is why, I um was just so confused about a lot of things. But needless to say, without going into too much detail, that I was grieving not just the separation and the breakup, but I was grieving a whole entire life, because it's what I knew, right? It's what I knew, it's what I was used to, is what I understood at the time was mine, right? And to have it crumbled up and threw away, it's like really heartbreaking and heart wrenching, you know? And it was very, very hard for me to grieve an entire past life, because this great woman once said that when you are in the stage of creating and developing something new, everything old has to go. Everything old has to go. You are shedding the old for the new, and it can be scary, and it can be gut-wrenching. It can fuck with your nervous system, because you are getting rid of, at one time or another, everything that you ever knew before, in order to evolve into you, into the change that is supposed to be beneficial for you and your family. And it is supposed to you're supposed to at some point learn to readjust into your new self. And it's never easy. It's never fucking easy. And so here I am grieving this whole motherfucking life and this whole idea of my life that I've had, right? And then there's a lot of shock factors and wow factors that came into fucking play with that people may not fucking understand. Right? But then in the midst of that, I had started dating, and I had gotten to shortly after dating, I had got into a relationship, and I thought to myself at the time, I was when I look back at it now, I was actually forcing myself to be in a relationship. But at the time, I didn't think it was forced, right? But I was calling myself going with the flow, and I'm not mad at myself for that. I'm not beating myself up for that. Of having the experience of another relationship after this. This is now going into 2 years, 2.5 years of the fucking breakup. And at the time, my logic was, okay, it is time for you to be loved up on, because you have been missing that. You have been missing that for a very long time. So it's time for you to be loved up on. It's time for you to be appreciated and understood, and to perhaps maybe grow with somebody. And I gave the relationship a try, and it failed. And it failed in taking accountability. I believe it was because I actually wasn't ready. There's a lot of under the umbrella of a relationship, there's a lot of emotional requirements and mental requirements. Like, there was things that are necessary in order to keep a relationship afloat that I realized that I wasn't I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't prepared to do. Um, a part of it is because I was going through a stage of selfishness, right? And I want to say, without discrediting my experience at all, is that in your stages of healing, I don't want to say that it was selfish. I want to say that it was self preservation. So I was going through the stages of self preservation because I had realized in the midst of this relationship, post the big breakup, I had realized that I had given so much of myself that I really didn't have anything left for me, which is another reason why I think I was still grieving, even though, excuse me, even though I was not acknowledging that I was still grieving. You know, I was forcing myself to say, all right, it's time to move on. All right, how long you gonna be going through this shit? How long, how long? Like, come on now, come on. I was, excuse me, shit. I was pep talking myself out of all the different emotions that I was feeling because I was giving myself a time limit. Like, I felt like this should not become a news cycle, right? And this other person that I was with was what I would like to believe is understanding and as he could be. And then the relationship, he was as understanding as he could be for the time that we were together, and then the relationship had to perish because, again, in healing, going from healing to happiness, I am understanding more and more things about the relationship in its entirety because also while I was in the midst of this relationship at the time, Judas got into a terrible, unfortunate accident and he passed away. And that was a whole other fucking downward spiral for me, right? Okay. It really hit hard. It really hit hard. His passing. So here I am in the middle of another relationship and going through normal relationship shit. I'm also grieving a past life in more ways than one. And hold on, let me get my shit together. So pardon me. Okay. So I am going through a lot at this time. And I decided to step away from the relationship. I think it was in our best interest to just fall back and continue healing and continue to get my shit together because my new reality and coming to terms with it and understanding everything that was going on was kicking my ass. Kicking my ass. Shit, that coffee too sweet. Yeah, my new reality was kicking my ass. From grieving to accepting to transitioning to changing to understanding to understanding, and not to mention, but I will mention, going through all of this with my children because they're going through their own emotions about it. And having to try to help them understand and deal with their grieving process, and at times having to hold my own pain back in order to assist them and guide them with theirs. And all of this, and it's and I had no fucking help, no fucking help. And yeah, I'm going to fucking rant about that too. I had no fucking help. I had no fucking one from that fucking side of the fucking family to call in and check on my fucking kids. Now, one of the I had to say this, one of the uncles did reach out, and was able to, kind of bridge the gap a little and check in on them. Um, that is one fucking uncle out of fucking many. No aunts, no grandmother, no fucking body to fucking even and with the understanding that I'm sure they were going through their own grieving process as well, right? um I am not definitely not trying to take that from them at all, but the reality of the whole situation has me in my motherfucking bag about a lot of shit. And that's why I say it's a lot of shit that I could say, but I'm not gonna fucking say it. Not that I give a fuck about how any one of them feel about what it is that I could say. It's more because I am really trying to keep going and keep growing, and I really, really work hard to get to this point, and I don't want anyone to be able to try to um, promote me going back to where I came from, because I came a long fucking way. I want to shout out my godmother because when she came through for my birthday party this year, she said to me, I am really, really proud of you, girl, because when you were younger, I just didn't know. I just didn't know that you would turn out to be this beautiful, strong person that actually pulled their shit together and had their shit together. You was younger, you was all over the place, you was this, you was that, and I just didn't know. But to see how you pulled it all together, girl, I'm proud of you. And that made me feel really good. So I want to shout out to my godmother, and I won't even say her name. But I am glad to have her back in my life. Um, but all of that to say is that healing is a fucking process. And while I am finally getting to the stage of being happy again, um, It has taken a lot of work, and it's going to continue to take work. And so this is why I promote you being patient with yourself, you loving yourself, and giving yourself all the things that you have so freely given to anyone else. And even if you didn't freely give it to them, even if they had to work for it and eventually you got there, there's still work that you had to do with yourself in order to get to that place. And if you're going to continue to do the work, you got to understand that there's principles that go along with that shit. And you got to be good to yourself. You got to love yourself. You got to be up on yourself. You got to keep yourself, you know. Sometimes that takes more courage than people are willing to admit or people are willing to acknowledge. But I see you. I see you. And let's continue to go forward. So while I am on my way to another level of happiness and another level of being me and continuing to grow, the boys are doing better. But we all have our days. You know, we all have our days. Like the Christmas season is on our motherfucking heels, and it was one of their dad's favorite times of the year. And besides it being a holiday time, we're not talking about paganism and religion and all of that other shit. You know, we as a people, we know what that shit really is. But that's not the fucking point right now. Right now is that this is a difficult time for all of us because we've had to endure the passing of other family members who had favored this holiday. Mostly, you know, the gathering of family, the joy, the cheer, the gifting. That's, you know, that's what it really is about. And so we're dealing with that, but we're dealing and we're doing okay. And I just remind them that even on the days that they're not doing okay, it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to surrender that fucking day. Like, you know, some days when you know when to surrender, you fucking live to fight another day. And since most of our days we are fucking fighting for one reason or another, it is okay to surrender the day to God. It's okay to take your fucking cape off. You don't have to be heroic today. Today is perfectly fine to be fucking human. Right? And again, I do not want to end this on a sour note. I just want to say peace and blessings to you. Thank you for hearing me the fuck out. I want to send well wishes and positive, motivational words of inspiration and encouragement to my godmother. I appreciate you. To my sister girls who stuck through it all with me. Thank you. Thank you so very much for being who you are. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you for, in the midst of the shit that what y'all was going through, still took time out of your fucking day to assist me in any way that you could. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you to my ex who you know, did the best he could, you know. and entertaining a relationship with me. You know, I thank you for your patience and your understanding. What you tried, we tried, and um, but I definitely appreciate you for being you. Um, I absolutely have to, without a doubt, thank my my spiritual team, the Divine Mother, the Creator, the Divine Father, my benevolent ancestors, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, the protectors of my galaxy, the ethers that hold all of this shit together. I thank my spiritual team. I even have to acknowledge my ancestors of war. I cannot leave them out because they don't play about me either. You know, my spirit team don't play about me. And I am as dedicated to my spiritual team as they are dedicated to me. Because when I am diminished, when I am flat out empty, when I am flat out empty and just didn't have anything left, didn't know where I would get it from, I laid on my face and cried out. And my first words, even before I went into prayer, as I humbled myself, I cried out and said, "Oh God, oh God." And like DMX said in the song, that couldn't be the last words of your man. Oh my God. Your man was so hard. And so even though I am strong, I can also acknowledge the moments of weakness and vulnerability. And I am not afraid in any way, ever, no matter where I am, to humble myself and go before God. And my spiritual team always rise to the occasion to assist me. And not only will I be a fool, but I will be a hypocrite, and it is just a non-negotiable for me not to acknowledge my spiritual team. It's a team. It's a team that has helped me so far. When I look to my left and I look to my right and there's no one there, I go within, and that's where they are. And I thank them wholeheartedly. And I thank you for listening. I want to thank my sons for being good dudes at their core, just like their dad was at their fucking core. Like I realized that our relationship, me and Judas, our relationship, even though I felt so alone at the time and I was going through some shit, ultimately, our relationship didn't go through anything that no one else relationship didn't go through, um so when people was like, oh, you know, after all that, he fucking did you dirty. But you know what, bitch, let me tell you something, right? Y'all motherfuckers be with the niggas throughout the whole relationship, and through the whole relationship, the motherfucker did you dirty. The whole relationship, the motherfucker treated you fucked up, and you was attached to that. Like, you had attachment issues also. See, I was going through a lot of shit because the person that he had become, or that I seen that he had become, is not the person that I knew up until that time. He was not that motherfucking person, and at his core he had a beautiful heart, and I just wondered, you know, what happened to it. And even if we couldn't be together, like I always say, why couldn't we have a conversation so that I'll be able to have an understanding of something, you know? But I don't want to go back there. You know, I am here now. I've managed to take a couple of steps forward, and now I am here. And every day is different. Every single day is different. But I appreciate each day for what it is. I appreciate growing and learning within that day. And I appreciate all the people, whether you're here physically or whether you're here spiritually. I definitely appreciate the gods and the earths. I will say that, for assisting me to get to where I am right now. You know? And that's about it. I'm about to wrap this shit up. I'm gonna have to add some more water to my coffee, because that coffee tastes like sugar, and I can't stand. I like a perfect cup of coffee. Yes, there is a such thing, made just the way that you like it. Matter of fact, lesson learned. I'm gonna pour that out, and I'm gonna start all over again, and I'll get my perfect cup of coffee. With that, I am wishing you a happy and beautiful day today. And may you be able to also come to terms with some of your shit, so that you can continue to move forward. Alright? I'll be back again. So